Hey, what's up, card fighters? So I've been fighting a sore throat for basically since the weekend. So basically like this past week and a half, and I did let it affect my content because of I just haven't been I just haven't been feeling good, and there was a couple days where I just really couldn't talk, or I was just like talking so much where I basically like lost my voice, and I just chose not to make content on that day, and I really wanted to apologize to you guys. You guys didn't deserve that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and knock these videos out for the rest of the week for the BAROMAGNES one deck 1 week. I know you guys were like really excited to see that. I was very excited to put the videos out. I really wish I was able to get them out sooner. But yeah, guys. So it looks like we're on the play here. We pitch Twin Sword here and ride up to the pony. We're playing against Jet. They pitch a draw trigger, draw off the starter, and then draw for the crest. And our opponent just decides to swing for 8 here, gets a critical trigger, puts us to 2. Thinking about what I want to pitch here, I was hovering over a Lilac Lasher, but I also wanted to keep it. I ultimately decide to discard a 15, and then I swing for 10 here. He guards it, rides up, discards a GG, calls Zargon. I let the attack hit, we get a heal trigger, and then Zargon puts 2 cards from drops to soul. We were running Zargon in the earlier builds of this deck, but it just really relied on my opponent letting it hit. And like in a combo deck like BAROMAGNES, there's times where like my opponent can just like force it not to hit, and then like we miss out on our soul basically. Riding up here, we put the Lash into soul. We soul charge another Evil Eye, which is really good for us. Calling out the doll here, increasing our soul charges, then using the pony to soul charge 3 more. Then we're soul charging 3 more with the Curtis. Calling another Curtis here, soul charging 3 more. And then this is the current tech I am running, which is the grade 1 Makani, which is basically just extra copies of Curtis. So we call a Lasher out, just so... Oh, so I had 2 Lashers. I must have drawn another one somewhere. So swing for 31 here. Guards of 2 15s. Swing here. It was plus 30. So this is 32. He guards with 2 15s again. Then we're going to swing for 23 here. Shoving our rears to soul. And I believe we just decided to call out both Lashers here. Decides to take it. We get no triggers. And at this point, I believe there are like 45 or something along those lines. He just decides to take them. Pitches the grade 2 15k shield. And he's going to Soul Blast for the grade 2 of the rad line to grab a grade 3 from deck. He's going to grab the grade 3 that when he strides with it, he's going to be able to draw a card, which he's going to immediately stride. Cab Blast 1, put one of the Lashers into the deck, and then he's going to draw off of the grade 3. Plays a GG, draws again, and then he has 2 upstream dragons here. So he's going to swing for 15 with the upstream here. I could have intercepted, but I was trying to keep the other Lasher here, so I chose to just guard from hand, and if anything, because of the way I was guarding, I could have, technically, it could have been considered like a bait, to whereas, like, he became essentially like a bigger interceptor if he does choose to attack into the Lasher. He's going to swing for 28 here. I was thinking about not guarding, but I was also thinking about what if he hits key triggers here and I could possibly lose this turn because my hand isn't that large. So, just contemplating here. What we ultimately decide to do is we guard for 15 and a 5 from hand. Just going to grab a swirler here. Soul charging 1 off the swirler. Wasn't a trigger. Tucking the GG. calling another upstream. I usually like to give my opponent's deck a shuffle if when they do like something that I don't consider a good shuffle is where they take the top half of the deck and they put it on the bottom and then they do that without actually moving any cards. And then we just take the secondary attack here. Go to 4. It's gonna leap with the upstream here into another GG. So he has quite a few cards in hand. Not that many, but he has quite a few in hand. Just recounting the amount of cards I have in Soul here. Maybe I was checking out what exactly I did have in Soul. Calling out a Twin Sword here, giving 5k to the front row, but I choose not to do his secondary ability. I believe because the last card in my hand was a perfect card. Gets a draw trigger here, which is very nice for him. Puts his entire back row into the Soul. We're going to call out another Twin Sword and a Lasher, so that's going to make our Vanguard 33 by itself. Then we're going to activate the Twin Sword's effect here. I believe we grab the Blitz Order PG. Soul Charge a crit here, unfortunately, but it'd be like that sometimes. He's going to Perfect Guard here. First check is a crit. We're going to give power to the Twin Sword and then crit to the Lasher. Swing with the Lasher here. I was going to give him like a calculated number, but he just decided to PG it. And then he uses the OT to guard the last attack. He's going to pitch 2 to Stride here, an Upstream Dragon and a Perfect Guard. He's going to put the Lasher on the bottom again, so we don't have any more Lashers. He's going to swing for 15 here. Which we're heavily thinking about this attack here. Our hand isn't that sexy in terms of guard value. And I was just calculating how big his Vanguard was going to be, so we do ultimately intercept. It's going to tuck back the critical trigger here. It's going to call out a GG. He's going to draw a card with a GG. So GG is going to be 13 plus 15 plus another 15. GG is going to be 43 by itself, but the Vanguard is going to be 48. And I was contemplating guarding the Vanguard, but that's the reason why I decided ultimately not to. Just going to draw off the GG here, and then we take the Vanguard swing. Gets grade 2, grade 1, another grade 1. We damage check a Curtis here, and then we just use the Blitz Order PG. And we don't have anything to call out here, so we're just going to swing. Gonna give a 15 to the front row, which is really nice. So our Vanguard swinging for 28 with a crit. Ask for a trigger count here. It's going to give my Vanguard a 1 to pass. We get a heal trigger, which does resolve. And that is the end of game 1. I wouldn't say a very grindy match. It wasn't necessarily grindy. It was more of like the way I was using... Well, basically, because the way the deck plays, it's like a combo deck where you put all your resources, you put all your eggs into like the one basket, and you hope that it's enough, and you hope like the small amount of defensive resources that you can procure is enough to where the board wipe matters enough, and you're basically playing in like a simplified game state. Not like really a grindy game state, but like a simplified game state where like you just take all your opponent's resources in terms of them guarding your swings and you sucking up their board. And hope that pressure is enough to win the game. Because if not, you can just get blown out very easily. You don't have a hand with this deck. But he is going to be on the play here. He decides to go first. So we're giving our deck a good shuffle here, just so any multiple copies of any cards don't stick together. Pitching a 15, rides up, draws for the crest. Pitching an order card, since we probably already have one in hand, and I believe you drew another copy, so that's a good target for next turn's discard. Swing for 8 here, get a Curtis, and then swing for 8 here. He guards for 15. Pitches a effect draw here. Calls Swirler, Soul Charges a Swirler. Calls GG here, Soul Blast 2 to draw a card. Calls Swirler. He's going to swing for 8 here. We take it. He's going to swing for 8 again. We decide to guard that with a 5k, and then we're just going to take his Vanguard, which we get a heal trigger here, which is very nice. Pitching the order card here. I decided to call out the Evil Eye here because I didn't necessarily need her for my next turn's combo. So I call her out as a pressure attacker. We basically just swing at the swirlers. He guards the other swirlers so I don't get the soul charge. There was an argument for me to just make a column instead. But I just kind of wanted to go wide in case I got an offensive trigger. Rides up, grabs Bali. Calls down the grade 2 interceptor here. So this is going to be very nice for us because we're going to be able to suck up his back row rear guards. You can see his hand really isn't that big either. Gets 2 grade 2s. We damage check Chalice, unfortunately. He's going to swing at our rear guard and we take it. We don't need it. Pitch the grade 1 here. Soul Charge and Amonadine. We're going to Soul Charge again, which looked like a crit trigger. Activate it. Soul Charging 4. Activate the Pony. Soul Charging 2. Call Curtis. Soul Charging 2. Call Curtis. Soul Charge 2. And I believe at this point I already had 15. Yeah, I had 15. So swing for 18 here. Force out the intercept with the soul, which is really good. So he's not going to have like too much soul to abuse on next turn, even though we are giving him a lot of soul. I'm going to swing for 28 here. Do we have a Lasher to call out? That'd be really good here. I don't think we have a Lasher, so we choose to call out 2 Twin Swords here. Yeah. Just making our Vanguard bigger. So our Vanguard's 28, 38, I believe. And then both columns are 30. He PG's the Vanguard. We get a crit here. We get another crit. And then we're going to swing here for, I believe, 50. And that is the end of game 2. Were you able to just play aggressively from the get-go since we did go second? And that's ideally what you want to do against at least CHRONOJET. CHRONOJET likes to rush, but it doesn't necessarily like getting rushed back, and it helps a lot that we're able to just clear up his board very hap-handedly with our grade 3 skill. So it makes it to where he has like weaker turn 3s and turn 4s. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna be doing the rest of the match videos today, and it's gonna be I'm gonna be posting one today. Today's Thursday. That's when I'm posting this, and then the other 2 are going to be Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday is going to be the deck profile. But anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, more BAROMAGNES content coming throughout the rest of this week. Promise us, guys. Later.